not date people. I think it became clear to me around the time I accidentally dated a lesbian for like 2 to 3 months. I don't know, it was like a decade ago, so I'm not sure about the time frame. But I do remember being so affected by how important honesty is that it haunts me to this day, and debilitates me, and cripples me, and makes me question if I'm the devil. I was fresh out of college, and I was a waitress at a 24-hour diner in the Valley. I don't have to say the name. When along came Kate. Kate was this quirky, compact, buff, female computer programmer who drove a white Beamer. Kate would always sit in my section, would always tip me 50%, sometimes 100% if I wore the right pants. She was interested in my life. She always told me how nice I looked, yet she was very ambiguous about what her sexual preference was, even after we became good friends. Kate and I went to the gym together. We went to restaurants together. We spent hours at my work together as I waited on her. She made me piles of mixed CDs. And she even superimposed my face onto Princess Leia's body on one of the waitstaff, the busboys, the cooks, the 17-year-old entitled dishwasher, and all our 2 a.m. drunken customers thought we were a couple. I can see how they thought that, except there was no intimacy, there was no commitment, and I had zero feelings for her. After many outings of me playing dumb about her intentions for me, Kate invited me to a concert in Long Beach on a Friday night. The Los Lonely Boys were playing, and there were lots of festivities going about. On our way home, I mentioned trying to confirm her orientation for sure. Oh, I think it's Pride Week because there are a lot of rainbow flags and gay people around here. She laughed and said, I know. Hey, let's go to my house and we can watch Entourage and I can give you a massage. Her sexually sounding segue was so abrupt, I felt a deep pit forming in my stomach thinking I was leading her on. So I turned her down. On our next outing, Kate invited me to the Hollywood Bowl for a Pink Martini concert. Kate picked me up in her white Beamer with 24 white roses. It was a lot like that scene from Pretty Woman when Richard Gere comes in the end and screams, Princess Vivian! Princess Vivian! Except I did not want this happy ending. I was conflicted because, shit. I was conflicted because I knew I was sweeping her feelings towards me under the rug, and I had no idea how to deal with the situation. So we got to the venue, and she pulled out her picnic basket with a huge box of plum wine from Trader Joe's. Now, she was not a drinker, and with Pink Martini wafting their spell through the air, and her proclaiming, I want to get you drunk, I decided I was not a drinker either. By this time, everyone at the restaurant, including our 3 a.m. drunken Filipino customers sipping on their avocado shakes, were telling me I needed to tell her I didn't have any feelings for her. It was hard. I was deathly afraid because dishonesty makes the other human happy, but honesty was going to make me feel like a douchebag. It was going to be my truth spoken aloud to hurt and disappoint. So I resolved I wouldn't see Kate ever again, no matter how much she asked me. And I finally got up the guts to to call her and have the talk. And I was trembling on the phone as I told Kate, I think you're such a great person, but I know you like me, and I'm straight. She asked me if I was sure. I told her, I wish I wasn't. I wish I could feel for her the way she felt for me. And then her voice started trembling as she unavailingly pleaded with me to reconsider, and then somehow we both started crying. And after we said our final goodbyes, I hung up and I never saw Kate again. Years later, I found myself in a fake 5-month relationship with a guy who was begging me to talk about my feelings and say the things he wanted to hear. And once again, I was dishonest. Not by ignoring the elephant in the room, but by lying to his face and telling him I had feelings for him, even as tears of inner death streamed down my face. Over a decade later, and I avoid eye contact with the opposite sex at all costs. And I'm terrified to date people because I'm afraid I won't be able to tell them the truth the way I couldn't with Kate. And then 2 years later, we'll either be in a fake marriage or some guy will awkwardly be Facebook messaging me when I'm just as fine pretending he's dead. My therapist thinks this is irrational. I think my time with Kate has followed me to this day because I stay in relationships way longer than I want to just because I'm afraid of being honest. Holy shit. I'm afraid of revealing that part of myself that makes me just an ordinary human being. Because sometimes when we are completely honest with ourselves, we find there are parts of us that we do not like. We find that despite our every efforts, there are parts of us that are ordinary and flawed and shady and egotistical and disappointing. And we either have to face those demons down or we learn to accept them. Thank you.